Hello and welcome. And I'm so very grateful to have Emma Weatherstone with us here today. A very warm welcome to you, Emma.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you so much. It's been such a wonderful journey, and this situation that we're in. If we hadn't been in it, I wouldn't have met you. So thank you so much.
Oh, oh, that's just lovely. Thank you. I'm just so excited to hear your story and what you do. So tell me, what is it that you do, and how come you got to be doing what you're doing?
Goodness me. I mean, life has been such a roller coaster, and to get to where I am, it's been really exciting. I work as a business coach. I'm a landlady. I have a legal cannabis business. I'm a mum, and I run the Mumpreneurs Networking Group in Emsworth, amongst other things. And how I've got there, gosh, it's quite a long story, and it's been such a fantastic journey.
So tell us, how did it start? Did you have a normal job ever?
I did have a normal job, yeah. I mean, my background, I studied biochemistry and pharmacology at Leeds University. And after graduation, I tried to get a job, and it was in the recession. And I did loads of different things. I worked in shops, I worked in bars, I worked in clubs. And I actually then got a job working selling aerial photography, door to door. I know, really random. And there was a whole team of us that had all just graduated from university that were all selling these photographs, and you still see them now. And we just used to go up to people's doors, knock on the door and say, "Hi, look, this is your house, and there's your car, and look, there's your dog in the garden." And people used to go, "Wow," and buy them. And we used to make loads of money. We couldn't believe it. And I did that for a few months, and then I thought I really need to start focusing on my actual career. So I went to an interview for a sales role in the pharmaceutical industry. And the guy that interviewed me, he said, "So how can you cope with the sales environment and rejection?" And I said, "Well, to be perfectly honest with you, I've been working selling door to door. And if I didn't sell, I didn't get paid. It was commission only. So I'm quite used to rejection." And he said, "Okay, I'll give you the job." So that was the beginning of my career. And I went through the ranks. I had different roles. I worked in business development, marketing, but the role that I loved the most was sales management. And I ran teams, and that's what got me onto the coaching journey. The company I worked for were very, very forward thinking. And as a manager, we were trained in NLP and coaching, which, was unheard of in those days. And I remember sitting in the training courses thinking, this is really powerful. This is really resonating with me. And I was so fortunate that I was able to use these techniques when working with my team to get the best out of people. And it was just so exciting. And I just thought, I need to know more. I want to know more. And I remember filling out a form. It was back in the day before you did everything online. And I filled out the form, printed it out. And I remember speaking to my manager, and I said to her, "Look, I'd really love to do this course." It was quite expensive. It was a big commitment of money, but also my time as well, because I would have had to have taken time off work. And I remember her picking up the form and just going, "Oh, this looks interesting. No, it's not something we could help support you with." And I remember feeling so kind of crestfallen. And I just thought, oh, that's a bit disappointing. I felt really undervalued. And I thought, well, do you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. So I wrote the check, put it in the post, and signed up for the course. And it was the NLP practitioner. And it was the best thing I ever did. And it was about investing in myself and not relying on other people to do that. And I started the course, and it literally changed my life. I used to come back from the sessions. They used to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, once a month. And I'd just come home and I'd just be in tears. And my husband would be like, "What's wrong? Why are you in tears?" And I said, "These are tears of joy, because I've just had the realization of all of these things that have been holding me back in my life." And it was so powerful. It kind of makes me feel quite teary now, but it's tears of happiness, because now I know the things that were holding me back. So I'll give you an example. One of the really key things was this whole concept of association and disassociation. And, you know, ideally we want to associate with the positive and disassociate with the negative. And I found when we did these practices within the NLP environment that I'd turned it on its head. I was actually associating with the negative. So when I was in a really negative situation, I was really feeling it. I was seeing it in vivid color. It was kind of running through my body. And when I was experiencing a positive experience, I was very much looking in like a helicopter view and looking down on what was happening rather than being part of it. And that was really affecting the happiness in my life. So just knowing about how I could sort of turn that back to how it should be, you know, it totally changed my life and my outlook. So incredibly powerful. And I came out of that course just wanting to know more. And then I did my coaching diplomas, my business coaching and my personal development coaching, again, all in my own time, all off my own back, whilst doing a full-time job as well. And I met along the way, you know, because I'm a great believer in the law of attraction, and people come into your life for the right reasons, just like you've come into my life, Maria. And I met a lady called Dawn Breslin. She's still a great friend of mine. And one of the things that the coaching academy who I studied with used to do was they used to do these taster days where you could go and experience a taster of, you know, somebody's work. And I remember turning up to this room in London, and I walked in and I met Dawn, and I just thought, we're going to have a future together. We just clicked. It was amazing. And it was a very sort of top line course. And literally by lunchtime, I knew I was going to sign up and do her other course. It was all around confidence and confidence coaching, but starting with yourself. And I remember going on the course and talking to her, and we had so many things in common. And it was meant to be, really. And one of the things, you know, again, we spent the whole weekend crying, just releasing so much, you know, that the things that you hold back, the criticisms you've faced, the judgments that you've been given, the things that you carry around with you. And we were able to just use techniques and training just to remove all of those. And one of them was actually writing a letter to ourselves and then just getting rid of it. And it was sort of giving permission to say goodbye to all of that negativity. But one of the things that we did discuss when we were there is we both had a link with South Africa. And she had been out there to do some work. And I said, I've been out to South Africa a few times. I've got a friend that lives out there. And I said, I'd just love to go and spend some more time with her. And she said, well, why don't you do it? She was very direct. And she said, well, you know, it would be amazing for you, you know, to experience, to go and do some work. And I just thought, you know, and then I just put all the barriers up again, you know, because for me, it's all about, you want to allow yourself to do things. But my immediate reaction was like, no, I can't do that. I've got a job, I've got responsibilities. And then I couldn't stop thinking about it. I couldn't get the idea out of my head. And I spoke to my boss, and she said, oh, you know, there is a scheme at work where you can take a sabbatical. It wasn't really publicised that often. And you basically took time off, unpaid leave. And one of the things that had happened to me that year, which had been very, very, I suppose, influential how I move forward, is I'd suffered a miscarriage. And it given me a realization that I really wanted to have a baby, but there was also other things I really wanted to do as well. It was very traumatic at the time, and it's quite interesting how those things affect you, because you sort of think, you know, you go through all the grief and the trauma, but equally I thought, do you know what, I do want to have a family, but there's other things I want to do first. So on the back of, again, a very negative situation, something positive came out of it. I met Dawn, I went on the course. She put the idea in my head about going to South Africa. And I spoke to my boss and she said, look, if you put all your ducks in a row, you get your team in a place where they can, manage themselves with me overseeing it, go for it. So I did. So in the January, I started putting money away and thinking, right, how am I going to empower my team to actually, take responsibility and run the team as if I would be there. And it was such a lovely experience, and they all felt really grateful to be given roles and responsibilities. And I went away for 3 months, and when I came back, the team had been running like clockwork. It was just so exciting. And I went in the March, and I left my husband behind, and he gave me permission to go. And I went to go and live in a very rural part of South Africa with my friend Claire. Claire is one of the most amazing women I've ever met. She's one of my best friends. She's my son's godmother. And she's a GP, and she's currently on the front line working as a GP in London. And at that time, she was living in South Africa, and she moved there. And she was so shocked about the inequality and the inequality around healthcare. And she set up a clinic, which she ran voluntarily for people with HIV. And on the back of that, we had somebody donate a big chunk of money, and she'd bought a property and made it into a place of safety for children. So my job was to go out and work with her, and teaching, hanging out with the kids. And I got there, and it was just incredible. Our nearest neighbours were 45 minutes drive away. We were just literally in the middle of nowhere. We had no internet. We had no Wi-Fi. I set up a Gmail account so I could write a travel blog. And I had all this stuff going on, and I couldn't even get online. So that was out the window. I had to walk up a mountain for 20 minutes to get my mobile phone messages and text messages. It was proper rural. And we were working in the township, and the sort of things that we were doing, teaching English, art, creativity, cooking. We'd also bring the kids to the farm, and I love horses. And we'd take them horse riding. We'd climb trees, and just lots of different activities. And these are all kids that not necessarily orphaned, but they would have been taken into care, again, to do with the HIV situation. Their families couldn't look after them anymore. And we would just try and give them the best life that we possibly could. And being there made me feel absolutely useless, because I just thought, gosh, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I can't give anything. I can be here with the kids, but I just felt, I saw the work my friend did, and I just felt humbled, really. And then I thought, I know what I can do. And what I can do is I can mobilize people, I can raise money, I can set up a charity, which is what I did. So we registered the charity in South Africa initially, and then more recently in the UK. And I sort of made it my commitment when I came back home that I would support her from afar with all the admin stuff, the business stuff for the charity, because I didn't realise when I emailed her and she didn't get back to me for a week. I didn't realise why. And then when I lived out there, I realised why. Because she had no internet. So, setting up a charity, fundraising, organising all of that with no internet is a nightmare. So I took that upon myself to mobilise that from the UK. So I came back a really different person, because I'd seen so much poverty. We were testing kids for HIV, and nothing prepares you for that. We were running education sessions on safe sex, and in a community where there is quite a lot of misunderstanding about how to protect yourself. And I came back to London, and I just thought, my life is so privileged. I feel so fortunate. but it really changed everything from that day moving forward. And then it got really interesting. Because
I'm just sorry to interrupt you. I just want to I just want to say I'm crying here, and I'm just so moved. I'm just so moved by
thank you.
your heart and your journey, and I just think, you know, sometimes we feel that we're not that super person that is the doctor or is the lawyer or something. I just think that your presence, like, even if, you know, your loving heart and presence would have given so much comfort to those children and that situation, and then everything that your life has trained you to be, a great businesswoman, all the processes, tools, coaching. It's just very, very moving. Thank you for sharing that.
No, do you know what's lovely as well is I've quite a lot of the kids are actually on my Facebook. They're my friends on Facebook since they've got older, and obviously technology's changed now and the internet's a little bit better out there. And I get messages from them, and it's just so wonderful. And the organisation is called Kaya Lokakanya. And Kaya and Lokakanya, Kaya is house, so it's House of Light in Sesotho. And one of the things that I sort of pledged myself and my husband, that we would do something significant most years to actually raise money for them, because they're such a small charity. They don't get any help from anywhere else. And the sort of things that we've done, which have been really exciting, we self-fund all our things ourselves, and then we just give all the money we raise to the charity. You know, I've jumped out of a plane, which I'm not an adrenaline junkie at all, and it was terrifying. And I actually jumped out of a plane with some friends who are also coaches, and it was very much a metaphor for stepping out of your comfort zone. And it was in 2012, and oh my goodness, it was one of the scariest things I'd ever done. But I knew, you know, I was doing it for the kids, so I had to do it.
Did you have a God moment just beforehand, like, oh, this is it, a little final prayer or something? Because I can't imagine.
Well, I was strapped onto this guy who was chatting in my ear, and we were in this tiny little plane, and we were going up and up and up and to get to the altitude, and he got his altitude watch, and he kept sort of sticking it in my face going, we're nearly there, we're nearly there. And I was third to go, so they pushed my friend Karen Williams out first, and the look on her face, and I just saw the profile of her face, and I was just like, and I just went cold. I was just like, ugh. And then her husband was the next, and then I just got shoved. And I remember that split second sitting on the edge of the plane, and I could see the curvature of the earth, and I could see it was crazy. And I could see the Severn Bridge in the distance, because it was in Salisbury with Go Skydive. And then I was just shoved out, and that was it. And then you do free fall, and we'd done, I think it was 15,000, so we'd done the extra free fall. And it's the most craziest stroke exhilarating stroke terrifying experience I've ever had in my life. But the whole time I had this guy strapped onto me, just talking to me the whole way through. And then suddenly they open the parachute, and suddenly the free fall stops, because you're going at, like, however, you know, terminal velocity. And then that stops, and suddenly it's like this silence, and you start floating. And then you land, and then it's the most craziest thing. And all I wanted to do was just hug him, and I couldn't stop hugging him. And he was going, can you just take that mask and helmet off first before you hug me? I was like, okay. And I felt I didn't want to leave him. It was the weirdest feeling, because I just felt so safe with him, because we just shared this amazing experience.
You know what? That reminds me of a simulation of in an adult body, like maybe the birthing process.
Potentially, yeah.
It's like the most extreme physical, emotional, mind, body, spirit experience.
Completely. It did
real fear as well. Fear, and then
But it was,
Extreme.
it's that roller coaster of emotions where, you know, the morning I remember waking up feeling really anxious and just kind of a bit edgy and quite stressed actually. And then you go through and you go through the door of no return kind of thing, where you have to get all dressed up in the overalls and everything. And it's just, yeah, and that exhilaration and that fear. And then there's, you know, what could go wrong? But actually it was fine. And I felt so confident in his hands. And we raised loads of money for the kids. So that was just an amazing experience. And, you know, we were able to raise the profile a little bit more. You know, and other things we've done, my husband climbed Mont Blanc. I walked around the Isle of Wight, sailed around the Isle of Wight and cycled around the Isle of Wight on my own. So that was really cool. I actually did the cycle with my husband and my son, but they didn't want to walk around with me. And I did that on my own, and it was really lovely. My friend joined me for the first day, and then the kids just got so bored, because the idea we were going to do it as a family thing, and we got as far as Fishbourne, which is where the ferries go, and I said to my friend, can you just take the kids back, because it's just driving me mad, I need to get this done. And then I left and I felt a bit sad, but actually it was like therapy, walking on your own with no other distractions. You kind of get into your own rhythm, and yeah, it was amazing, absolutely amazing. So I just love organizing things like that which have a purpose.
And with your NLP, are there some sorts of exercises that help people to go to that amazing place?
Yeah, I'd like to try one on you actually. Would that be all right?
I would love to be your guinea pig. Go
I think
for it.
this is quite pertinent for where
Me
we
and anyone else who's listening. Let's
yeah,
be your guinea pigs.
let's do this. I think this is quite pertinent at the moment of where we are with COVID-19 and lockdown, and there's so many things that we can't do at the moment. And you know, one of my big passions is travel. I love, you know, why I work and why I do what I do is because I also love my downtime. I love to travel the world. I love experiences and adventures. And one of the things I've missed the most is being able to book a flight and just go and experience things. So I know that at the moment people are feeling kind of, you know, we have good days and we have not so good days. And hopefully this technique will help you get back to that happy place. So I'd like you to sit with both feet on the floor and close your eyes and just imagine somewhere that you'd love to go to after lockdown is over. Somewhere that maybe you've either been before or somewhere that you really, really want to go to, that maybe you were planning to go to. And I want you to put yourself in that place. Imagine where you are, imagine what's going on around you, feeling the sun and the warmth on your face, hearing the noise, the chatter, the birds singing, or maybe nothing because it's so still. And I want you to really feel that. Feel the colours. Notice how strong the feelings are, the smells. And I want you to take a moment just to place your finger, your forefinger and your thumb together and anchor that feeling of happiness and joy, excitement for somewhere you really want to be or want to go. And just take a moment to hold that and to hold that feeling. So now, every time you put your thumb and your forefinger together, you can take yourself back to that happy place and use that as a technique, especially if you're feeling anxious or sad or upset or just missing, you know, life as we once knew it. And use that to bring yourself into that place. How did that feel for you?
That was amazing. That was amazing. It reminds me of this little song. Whenever I feel afraid, I hold my head erect and whistle a happy tune, and no one will suspect I'm afraid. But I didn't feel afraid. But
Yeah.
I went to such a yummy, squidgy, happy place. Like in my dream of dreams, I've got this
Yeah.
cute little camper van,
Yeah.
and I'm with my hubby, and it's just full of bunting and my crochet cushions, and it's really, really cute. It's like the city mobile, and we're just down the West Country coast, and it's just, I can smell the grass and the lush green, and I can feel the Mother Earth, and I can see the sea, and it's just morning, and I'm just looking at that and just having a coffee, and it's like, that's my happy place.
It's your happy
It
place.
was so, and it felt squidgy and yummy in my tummy and my
Yeah.
heart.
And that's the thing,
It was
it's really nice
amazing.
when you feel that in your body as well.
Yeah, yeah, that was, I didn't think this would work, but that was amazing.
And it's really important
That was
when
amazing.
you're
I loved
achieving that, is to have your both feet on the floor, to feel properly grounded.
Yeah.
Feel properly grounded. So yeah, so you can use that to take yourself into that happy place, especially if you're having days where life isn't so easy. You're having doubts, maybe something's happened, someone said something, just watching the news. It's pretty crazy times at the moment, and it's all about taking yourself to that place, because this isn't going to last forever.
And do you ever get challenges that during your work? Like, I know that you do lots of different types
Yeah,
of
yeah.
work, and some sort of job titles have some not very nice associations.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I worked for the pharmaceutical industry, sorry, for many years, and often that can get a really bad press. And I just remember I used to go to parties and people say, "Oh, so what do you do?" I say, "I work for this pharmaceutical industry," and people would just really get on your case about how awful they are. And over my career, obviously my love of coaching, I worked as a business coach, and through the clients that I met along the way, I would learn so much, and I would meet the most amazing people across all different walks of life. And one of my clients was a property investor, and at that time I was looking for other avenues, and she sat and talked to me, and I just thought, goodness me, that sounds really interesting. And I was already renting out a space in my house as a holiday cottage, and I thought, oh, it's quite lucrative, and it'd been really, really busy. And she was very abrupt with me, and when we talked about it, she said, "Why do you want to do that?" She said, "There's better ways of doing things." And that's when I discovered the world of HMO, being an HMO landlady. And I remember going out to look around the local town where I live, and I looked at 25 houses in one day on my own in the pouring rain in January. And I saw one house and it caught my eye. It was a 3-story townhouse, 6 bedrooms. And I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I had this sort of, I had this vision. I could already see how it was going to be. It was in complete total disrepair. And I ended up buying it. And I got it for a very good price. And the estate agents were saying they won't accept that. And they did. And within 4 weeks, I turned it into a 6-bedroom HMO. And one of my biggest fears, I suppose, was I was going totally into the unknown. I didn't have any experience of this. And it was like, how am I going to fill the rooms? And literally, I had people queuing up wanting to move in. And then that's how it started. And I think one of the things with being a landlady is landlords do get quite a bad name. And I wanted to, I suppose, bring my experience of being a team leader, a coach, and bring that into being a landlady. And it's been such a journey. I've now got 6 houses. And I run my houses like I used to run my teams at work. I provide support, assistance, but also I'm very firm as well. You have to have a lot of empathy when you're a landlord, but equally you have to be quite tough as well, and make decisions and not be scared of making decisions. So yeah, it's been a real journey, and I've met some amazing people along the way, and I've got people that have been with me since day one. So I must be doing something right.
And also, how has the pandemic affected the rents, the property
It's
situation?
been very challenging actually, because of one of the things right at the beginning of the lockdown period. It was this overwhelming responsibility that I felt for myself with the guys in the houses, because it's not only having that responsibility for your own health and safety and your own family, but it's seeing that as an extension of that. And I just wanted to make sure that I was ahead of the game. I sent them all the information around the health and safety aspects, the hygiene. I went around there providing hand sanitizer, soap, etc. So they were as well informed as possible. But also if they needed anything, and to let them know that whatever happened, that they would still have their home. And if they needed anything, if they were in self-isolation, that they weren't alone. And actually what it's done is it's made the communities within the houses really strong. It's been really lovely. And then of course people started losing their jobs. There's a lot of people who are self-employed, and these guys, a lot of them are very young. They don't have resources in the background, they don't have savings, and it was just again reassuring them that they would still have their home, and guiding them to the support that they were entitled to, so whether it be for the loans or universal credit. So and actually it's been amazing. I've been really, really pleased how everything has gone, and how everyone's responded, really. Unfortunately, I haven't had anyone that's been really sick either, and they've been really grown up about it. It's been wonderful, respecting the sort of social isolation and the social distancing. Yeah, so it's been really good, really, really good.
Well, I think that you give a real reframe on the term landlord, landlady, because
Yeah.
I know that you've also supported them financially and with food, and you've really gone over and above.
Yeah, and it's been very rewarding, because now people are going back to work. They're feeling a lot happier as well. And if you can take away any of those stresses or strains from people in what is a really challenging time, then it's got to be a positive thing.
And in what other ways do you offer support and your gorgeous kindness to groups of people?
Oh, I mean, one of the things I really love is my role as MNC manager.
So what does MNC stand for?
Montana's Networking Group. Because if I go right back again to when I came back from my sabbatical, as I said before, I'd lost a baby the year before, and I came back from my sabbatical, went back to work, won this little award, which was my Oscar for Manager of the Year, and that was for bringing in the highest amount of revenue for the company and having the most high performing team. So everything was great. I then found out I was expecting a baby. So I am now myself a mum. And then a few weeks after that, I found out I was going to be made redundant. So that all happened literally in about 2 months. I won the award, came back from the sabbatical, found out I was expecting my first baby, and got made redundant. And that's when life really, really changed. I was able to set up my own businesses, and which then became, the housing business as well, and set up my own coaching business. And along the way, I found the power of networking. And I met Sarah and Nikki actually at a social media training in Brighton. And I went there in a completely different guise with a colleague of mine for another business that we were running. And I met them and found out all about what they did. And I thought, God, I'd love to be part of that. And eventually I was able to take over the Emsworth group, which is where I live now. And it's just been so exciting. I'm the longest standing MNC manager. I've been doing it for 6.5 years now. And it was great because when I moved down from London to Emsworth, and I met a lot of people in the business community, and there's so much going on. There's so many amazing people doing so many amazing things, and it's just been really wonderful to be part of that and lead the group and watch people grow and thrive and flourish. And yeah, and I feel so grateful that I have that opportunity to be part of that growth and development. And one of the things I love is very much collaboration, introducing people to people, helping people out. You know, that's one of my real passions, is being an enabler and able to help people get to where they want to, and you know, and tap into my own experience of that. So yeah, it's been a wonderful journey.
I just think you are the most enabling person ever. You've had this trait running through, that thread running through all of the different life chapters that you've had. In all of those chapters that we've heard today, you've just enabled, created community, and just really made things better for everybody and for yourself. It's a very remarkable character trait to have. And you as a mumpreneurs manager do that with people. And the mumpreneurs group is so incredible, because my mumpreneurs manager has just enabled me in a way that I've never honestly known before.
So beautiful, isn't it?
And I can't. Shahida is the Brighton manager, and she has enabled me to concord lift off this project. Like, I've got blessings on my voicemail every day from her, just saying how, I mean, the support is just beyond belief. And I completely second what Nikki and Sarah have done. Is really extraordinary, because they're making networking available in a very simple way. And in a very humanistic way. And yeah, what you're doing with, I just want to really invite people to check out Mumpreneurs, and to join us online at the moment. And it's even better online as well. There is even more benefit.
Yeah. I mean, the online networking, I know for everyone at the beginning, it was kind of like, how's this going to work? What I've loved is, because of the nature of the work I do, I'm very busy and I don't have lots and lots of time to travel and go networking when we used to do everything face to face. And I tended to just stick with my local groups or my own group. And now I'm able to come to Brighton. I'm going, go to London. I can go all over the place from the comfort of my own home. And I think we need to really utilize that and capture that and make the best of these times. And I believe so much positivity and good will come of what is a very challenging time. And Mumpreneurs has just been a real positive vehicle to provide that support. And the girls have been working tirelessly behind the scenes to keep the groups buoyant, to keep them up and running, to keep the managers happy and motivated, because we're all on this journey together, and we all have times where we have ups and downs in our lives, and they've just done a phenomenal job. So I feel really proud to be part of that. And the support that you get and the generosity you get. I'll just give you an example. The website that we have for the charity, I did a fundraiser one Christmas, because every Christmas we'd always get together and we'd have like a raffle. People would bring in prizes and we'd raise money for a charity. And one year it was Kailoka Kanya, the South African charity. And one of my colleagues said, would you like me to help you with the website? One of the members, Valerie, who's one of our long-standing members for the Chichester group, and she now manages the website completely. And it's so wonderful. Before we were cobbling it together ourselves, and we were doing a pretty poor job, because it's not our area of expertise. And she just took that from us, and it's just been wonderful. So the generosity that people give in the group, the generosity of their time, their knowledge, their support, and that really is first, whereas the actual business transactions is definitely secondary. And one of the things I always say to people when they come to the groups, don't come here to sell, don't set out your marketplace metaphorically, and then be upset if people don't buy. Come to build relationships, come to meet people, come to listen, and listen what people are doing, what people have to offer, and you know, how you can help them, because a networker that gives is much better than one that just feels they need to take. So that's something that we're very conscious of at MNC. That's what we try to do.
Wow, that's just so well put. So well put. So
it's about giving, isn't it? It's about what you can do for other people.
Yes, yes. So, well, I just want to thank you so much for giving us such a novel story and journey. Your life path, your career path, your personal path has just been really rocky, really ups and downs, valleys, lakes, seas, world. There's so much there, and there's so much learning. And just for me, what stands out the most is the humility, the compassion, the kindness, and that infinite sense that I get from you. I really get your infinite. If you had 10 or 100 hands, you would extend like this. And I think it's a real honor and pleasure for me to showcase.
Thank you.
That, and to showcase the person behind the service. And you've done that in the most exemplary, beautiful way. So I really thank you for this interview today.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. It's always, it's wonderful to talk. And as you know, this isn't something that's in my comfort zone either.
Exactly. I really commend you. I know. And you've been so brave and courageous. And actually, even that's really inspiring to the viewer, because some people think, yay, high-flying business woman, she's got it all, she's got property, she's gorgeous, she's so successful. And you're just a person that you've got these beautiful, vulnerable human qualities too, and that's what's lovely to showcase. And just to give that leadership by example, to say we're all just human and we're all doing our best. We all have things we struggle with. We all have things that we're really good at.
Yes, and it's bringing out those qualities in people and allowing people that, what if they make mistakes? That's okay. And, one of the things I've learned from, and I call them my sort of learning curves rather than mistakes, is, we've all done things that haven't worked. We've all been involved in businesses that haven't worked. We've all done things that we prefer to maybe put behind us. But, we learn from that, and it makes us stronger. Like all the traumatic experiences that happen in life, they make you stronger. And, we can learn from that, and we can share our experiences and hopefully help other people as well.
Absolutely.
That's one of my, I suppose one of the biggest values that I have, is being able to be in a position myself where I can give to other people. And whether that be, financially or emotionally, that, I'm able to offer myself my services. One of the big things I've really enjoyed doing is being able to offer my coaching skills and services for free. And one of my aims in life was always to earn enough money that I could give my time to the community for free. And that's not undervaluing or devaluing what I have to offer, but it's just being able to share it. And that for me was very, very important. And again, going right back to the beginning, when I met Dawn Breslin, that was one of the things that we discussed together, about being able to do those things for charities, for the community, but also not looking after yourself as well, and striking that balance. So that's one thing that I've really celebrated and really enjoyed.
That's so moving that you created that intention so long ago. And
Yes.
I just really find it fascinating the way that people's life path, or am I being on purpose? Have I found my vocation? All these big questions that people eventually ask themselves, and the way that that looks for any given individual might just be so different and so unique. And what I observe in you is just the way that the light of your spirit is coming out in a really lovely fountain, like a firework fountain, in so many different ways, like, yeah, pizzazz, in so many different ways. And organically, destiny or the universe will find the recipient for that one, for this one, for that one. And I can see how that's happened with you again and again. And that's glorious. That's glorious to see how somebody's life force is being used for the highest service of humanity, for the highest service. You've nailed it.
Oh,
You've nailed it.
thank you. Well, one of the things is, which I'm a great believer in, I'd just like to share with you, is we think about what we want in our life, and I've always set goals. I've always made plans, and that's one of the things I'm really struggling with at the moment, the fact that I have no plans. I do have plans, but I can't make concrete plans because we don't know what's going on. And I think one of the things that I'm really excited about is, I just want to just pull this in, show the picture, is this is my vision board. And I've created these for years. And I'll tell you just briefly a story about this. When I first started doing this work back in the mid-2000s, I created this board, and it had a picture of a house, and it had a house in West Sussex that just happened to be the strapline underneath. It had a little dog, and it had all of these things, and I put them on the board. And guess what? I now live in a country house in West Sussex. I have a little dog. I have two little dogs, both Jack Russell Terriers. And the picture on this one was a Jack Russell Terrier. And it was all of these things. So I would really urge people, if you want something, write it down, share it with somebody else, put it on a board, have it somewhere really prominent in your space, in your office or in your kitchen, on your fridge, and just look at it every day. And it doesn't always have to be around money or finance or success. It can just be things that make you happy, places you want to go, people you want to be with, things you want to do, and a lifestyle that you want to achieve, really. And I've just found those exercises really, really powerful. And also, when you're having a really tough time, it's reminding yourself what life is all about, and why you're doing the things you're doing, why you're working, why you're earning money, why you're up late at night, sort of burning the candle. It's got to have, it's got to have a journey, and it's being really clear about that journey and where you want to go to. And there's nothing more powerful than visualization, and having that there as a constant reminder, especially in times like this as well, when sometimes we can just feel really, we don't know what is going on in the world. And I have my world map, you can see in the background. My husband gave me that for my 30th birthday, all framed. And he said, I've given you this for your birthday so we can start planning, the adventures of our life together. And that's what we do. So
That's so gorgeous. That's completely gorgeous. And I'd like to just end note with in existential philosophy, existential meaning, why am I here? Existence, thinking.
Yeah.
The ultimate question is assigning meaning to being here. And you have answered that beautifully.
Oh, thank you.
So,
Maria, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Me too. I can't put words to it. I can't wait to meet you in real life and squeeze you very, very much.
I'm going to get on that train. I'll come to Brighton and we'll go out for a lovely lunch. And
the best time, yeah.
Definitely. But it has to be vegetarian or vegan.
Okay.
Right.
I'll respect that.
because that's another one of my real passions in life, and yeah, something close to my heart.
Well, you look very healthy for it, so I'll join you in that.
Thank
And
you.
thank you so much for now. I'm sure we'll be hearing from. Oh, before I go, yes, I'll post the links at the bottom of this video anyway. But
Yeah.
just let us know how we can find you online,
Yeah.
find the charity, how we can help with the charity, and your
Yeah.
contact.
Yes. So we can add all of those. I say we have the website up and running for the charity Kailoka Kanya. If people are interested in learning more about the coaching work I do, my coaching business is Live Well Coaching. And as I said right at the beginning, I also have a legal cannabis business, and our Facebook page, Live Well with CBD. So if anyone wants to talk about any of those things, then please drop me a line. But more importantly, if anyone just wants to connect, I love meeting people, and I love you because you just never know who you're going to meet and where it's going to take you in life. So
Exactly.
and this is testament to that, Maria.
Oh, this is just too wonderful. Yeah, so that's wonderful. I can't wait to post those links. I'm sure lots of people will be interested. So thank you so much, and we'll meet again here.
Have a wonderful VE day as well, and enjoy the day. Enjoy the bank holiday.
Thank you.
Which I didn't realise it was when we set this up. I had no idea of that.
I still didn't until
no,
just
exactly.
Okay.
So,
So as in VE day, as in we'll meet again. Don't know when.
We'll meet again. Don't know when.
Don't know when.
Exactly. Vera Lynn.
Great.
75 years, victory in Europe.
Well, here's victory to all of us in this moment.
So yeah, have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.